Hi there guys, I hope you have had a good day. So as we know, Deontay Wilder is going to be seeking legal action or mediation for the Tyson Fury situation because obviously he wants to force Tyson Fury into taking that fight because he believes that Tyson Fury should honour his agreement because ultimately Deontay Wilder gave him two opportunities to fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. And I mean, Tyson Fury did get those opportunities, yes, but the problem is Wilder only fought Tyson Fury the first time around because he thought that he was getting an easy touch. The second time around, it was kind of ordered by the WBC, so you have to look at it from that perspective too. I know that Tyson Fury went and fought two other guys in between, Otto Wallin and Thomas Schwartz, but still, the WBC did order that fight. So then Wilder did take it eventually, and Tyson Fury obviously. But I mean, there has been a lot of back and forth now between the two of them. Not verbally, it has been online because Tyson Fury offered to help Deontay Wilder in this situation, to say, if you need any help, I'm only at the other end of the phone. So it was kind words, and I think that what Tyson Fury was doing was sincerely reaching out to Deontay Wilder. If you need help, I'm here. Because we know that Tyson Fury himself has had this battle with mental health, so I think that if he could help someone, anyone, then he will do that. So it was sincere, I believe, from Tyson Fury. He wasn't goading him or taking the mick at all. But Wilder has come back in traditional Wilder form. Deontay Wilder put that in a tweet, and this is what he had to say in his tweet. Hey, Tyson Fury, don't worry about me, I'm fine, blessed. The only thing that I want from you is for you to honour your agreement and fight me. I gave you two shots when I didn't have to and changed your life. Now it's time for you to be a man and give me my shot, as you agreed. So there we go, that is what Deontay Wilder has had to say in response to Tyson Fury saying that he's here if he needs him. Now, obviously it goes way deeper than just this little back and forth, or it is a back and forth instigated by Deontay Wilder because Tyson Fury reached out to him quite humbly to help him if he needs him. So ultimately it is Deontay Wilder who's saying, no, I don't care about any of that, just give me my shot, which is obviously what he wants. Or does he? I mean, he had the opportunity, he was given the date, mid-July I believe it was, but then he said, no, I can't do that because I have an injury. So then he had 90 days in order to get into the ring with Tyson Fury. He did not do that. So there was a date of October 3rd being projected for this third fight. That did not happen, and apparently that was played off because of the pandemic, because they could not get a live gate. So there we go, that's another one. So we have the injury, then because of the pandemic. So that is two force majeures that were put into place and given as reasons why this third fight cannot happen. So that's it, it's up, because there were three dates being projected in December. 5th, I believe, 12th, I believe, and 19th also. The 19th was the one that we seemed to be more pushing towards, but that didn't happen. So they had the postponement to October. They had that because of injury. They had the postponement again until December. They had that apparently because of the pandemic. So if they could not agree a date then, and still the fight was pushed back again, then Tyson Fury is not obligated to do that. So essentially the contract did expire, meaning that Deontay Wilder can no longer enforce his position for a rematch. So Tyson Fury is free to go and do whatever he wants. He said though that he wanted to fight Deontay Wilder again, but the date was constantly moved. They constantly changed the goalposts. So what is Tyson Fury supposed to do? Allow his career to stagnate as a result of waiting on Deontay Wilder when he's had two previous dates just go up into smoke, and then 3 dates in December do the same. Tyson Fury, you have to see it from his perspective that this fight seemed like it was never going to happen, or being pushed back further and further for Deontay Wilder to have more time, for whatever reason, to get this fight sorted and to get his head in the right place for it. Well, he seems to be in the right place now, I guess, in some way, because obviously Deontay Wilder is coming out with all of these ludicrous conspiracy theories, but he seems to have his head in the right headspace now for a fight with Tyson Fury, but he didn't have that before the contract expired and before Tyson Fury explained that he was going to be moving on. So Wilder was given every opportunity to make this trilogy fight with Tyson Fury, but he failed. He did not want to do it for whatever reason. The fight did not happen. Whether it was Wilder, whether it was his team, the fight did not happen. And we don't want to see the WBC Heavyweight World Champion kept out of the ring just because of this. I mean, I don't think many people were even interested in a third fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder because we've had two of them. One of them, Wilder got conclusively outboxed, and the second one he got conclusively knocked out. So Tyson Fury effectively has emerged as number one from this back and forth between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. So it is time to move on and head towards undisputed. Now, obviously, this mediation that will take place between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, will that affect undisputed and will that affect Tyson Fury? Well, mediation is the first step. Then, obviously, it will be taken further if Deontay Wilder does not get his own way. But, I mean, it was weird how Shelly Finkel came out and said that we still want that fight, and if Tyson Fury would oblige it, then we will take whatever date they put forward. So that was just after there were claims that the contract expired. So they were kind of asking for the fight as opposed to enforcing it like they could have done if they had the contract in place to do so. And I guess at the moment we just have to wait and see what happens between these two in this mediation. And I don't know whether Tyson Fury will still be continuing moving towards his December 5th date. This isn't something that he necessarily wants going on in the background, but it is, and he cannot change that. But Tyson Fury is a consummate professional, so I wouldn't imagine it will change things too much, because obviously he is going to be fighting on December 5th. I don't think that Deontay Wilder can stop that. What he is trying to do is enforce that third fight. Maybe it will happen in the spring if Deontay Wilder does get his own way, but I just don't see how he can. How can he? He's had his opportunities. He's had the date pushed back because of injury, because of the pandemic. So he's had plenty of chances to get back into the ring with Tyson Fury. I don't see how he can force any position to make sure Tyson Fury fights him after his fight on December 5th, or even force Tyson Fury to scrap that date and fight him next instead. I just don't see how Deontay Wilder can do that, because there have been lawyers going over the contract and they have explained it has expired. Deontay Wilder constantly pushed back the date because of this reason, that reason. He had his chance, now it's time to move on. I think that we would all like for that to happen. I mean, Deontay Wilder, I hope that he can come back gracefully into the sport of boxing, but he needs to take this loss like a man. And no matter what he may think, maybe he didn't want this third fight. Maybe he's convinced himself that he did, and that's the big thing about this. He convinces himself, and that is how he convinces his fans also. I mean, we don't know what goes on with Deontay Wilder, but the thing is, what he needs to do is accept the defeat, because he hasn't even done that just yet. Accept the defeat, then come back. Because all he is doing with this behaviour is burning bridges. He needs to make sure that he has a good position if he does want to come back. If he wants to come back and fight someone like, I don't know, Duhalpus or Luis Ortiz again or something like that. You know, there are fights out there for Deontay Wilder, but at the moment, Tyson Fury is not one of them. I don't believe it is. Hopefully Tyson Fury can move away from this and go on to the Anthony Joshua fight, because we want to see different fights. We want to see the new WBC heavyweight world champion, or not new because he's been it for the last 8 months, but we want to see the WBC champion in there with fighters like Joseph Parker, Anthony Joshua, Andy Ruiz. We want to see him challenge other heavyweights, not just Deontay Wilder. That is why I believe we are all happy for Tyson Fury to move on. Anyway, guys, what are your thoughts on this? Make sure you leave your thoughts in the comments below, leave a thumbs up, and subscribe if you are new. Thanks, guys.